Well, hey YouTube, wanted to bring you all an update on the Fusion. I know I haven't done one in I don't even know how long, but the car is at 36,500 miles now, so I'll call this the 36,000 update. And as you can see, there has been a lot change with the car, and I'll go over some of my reasons for that. So we'll start off with the front of the car. As you can see, all the plasti dip is gone. Took it all off. It was just in really bad shape on the front end. There was a lot of rock chips in it. It was just looking really bad. You could see white through it, and it was just time for it to go. I may redo it, I may not. I'm not really sure. It depends on how adventurous I get. Let me know in the comments what you guys think I should do. Did it look good? Does it look better this way? Did it look better with just the grill black? Yeah, so let me know your thoughts. You can also see I took off the front license plate, and I'm in the process of finding a way to plug these holes. I think I can just go to Lowe's and get like a little plastic plug that'll fit in a 1/4 inch hole, which is what those are. So that'll be good. Another thing, the front end is also in really pretty bad shape, honestly. It's looking pretty bad from rock chips, and that's just what highway driving does. You can see all of this down here and up through here, all of those black marks are rock chips. The car, I just washed it yesterday. The only bug on it is right there. Headlights, I don't know if you can hear that, but my fingernails are scraping on the little rock chips in the headlights too. There's a rock chip right there. On the hood, there's several on the hood. The windshield's pretty bad too. There's not any like stars in it, but there's just a bunch of little pits that are really frustrating. Another rock chip there, another one there, and I think there's one over, yep, there's one right there. So that's great. This headlight's the same way, just full of a lot of pits. You can see that the front end of the car on this side is also pretty beat up. I did take the yellow off the fog lights as well, because the one on the driver's side had developed a pretty big black burn mark in it, and it just looked really terrible, so I got rid of it. Hankook V12 Evo 2s, still holding up really well. At least these are. The ones that were on the front are worn a little faster, but I think I have an alignment issue because it's only the one on the left that's wearing the fastest. So like I said, the car's pretty clean right now. I also did get some black lug nuts from a friend. He gave those to me to try on my car, and I really liked them. Plasti dip on the mirrors is gone, but that's been gone for a good while. This back tire is wearing pretty badly. It's definitely got an alignment issue because it's pulling pretty hard. But car, really clean. I really love the color of this car so much. Still have my Texas A&M Sports Car Club sticker on there. One thing that I find kind of frustrating, I don't know if the camera's going to pick it up, but the bumper and the body are two different colors. And also you can see that mark right there where I got backed into. One thing I've noticed recently is that when I got hit, it pushed this whole corner of the bumper towards the front of the car, and this doesn't line up quite right anymore. Took the plasti dip off the tail lights as well as the badges and the exhaust tips. It was just an absolute nightmare on the exhaust. It was terrible. Oh man, that was hard to get off. Still have my A&M license plate frame. I did get a new one. Plasti dip is gone off the Ford badge and over here too. One thing that I find really frustrating is the basically straight pipe that was on it. The genius who did it left the tip on this side way too close to the outside of the bumper and melted that really nice hole in it, and also melted my reflector there too. Speaking of the reflector, I did take the plasti dip off of those as well. Finally got my Blend parking sticker off the car, thank God. Still have an Apple sticker, Sports Car Club sticker on that side. Nothing really new over here except for this obnoxious door ding. Probably some bro douche and a bro dozer who did that. But overall, except for the front end of the car, the body's still in really good shape. There's no major dents or dings or scratches. There's a few cone marks from old autocross stuff down there. I did finally get this to fit again. I broke the piece off that was broken, and it just slides back in there, so it fits fine. One thing that's really frustrating about this headlight, you can probably tell how I have it kind of pushed into the car right here. It aims that way when it should be aiming that way. Like you can see the front of the car, it should be aiming like this, but it aims like that. So I tried to counteract that by adjusting the headlight, and it helped a little bit, but not too much. I also did take the hot air intake off. I think it was causing it to lean out. And that's pretty much it for the exterior. So we'll go ahead and put the camera up inside and we'll take it for a test drive. Alright guys, so let's go ahead and get started with the test drive. And I know it looks a lot later than it did earlier, but that is because I went and saw a movie. So, whoops, maybe drive would help. Yeah, so I apologize about that. But anyways, first thing you're probably noticing is, wow, this car sounds quiet again. And you're exactly right. I put the exhaust back to stock. I had a feeling kind of that the exhaust may have had something to do with the leaning out issues I was having, and I'll get to that in just a minute. But I decided to go ahead and have the car put back to stock, just because, one, it didn't really sound all that good from the inside or the outside. It was just a very unrefined and nasty sound. When I had the glass back on, all you would hear when you punched it from the inside was whoosh, and then all you'd hear from the outside is whoosh and a little bit of, I don't know, it was a little fart canish. So everything's back to stock with the exhaust for now. Maybe later on down the road I'll get something better, but we'll go ahead and punch it. And that was 60 right there going uphill, and as you can see, it did fight for traction a little bit whenever I was coming out of the turn there. So these tires are really good, but they still get overwhelmed by this car a little bit. In the corners, the weight of the car absolutely overwhelms the tires, and if I'm on flat ground and if I'm on good surface, I can hook dead off the line. But if the roads are wet, or if I'm going uphill, or the surface is kind of crappy, then I'll still wheel hop and spin a little bit. But that's besides the point. I do like how the car sounds right now. The exhaust is quiet, obviously, which is not my favorite thing, but one thing about these Fusions is that not a whole lot of people know probably, is they have a dumbed down version of the sound Symposer that's on the Focus ST. And I'll let you hear it again. It's an induction noise. I don't know if you can hear it that well or not. It's not all that loud right now. It kind of decides when it wants to be loud and doesn't. But it's a really deep sucking. It sounds a lot like the Focus ST, but it's quieter. So I like the way it sounds. I wish it was a little louder. An intake doesn't really help it, because with intake all I get is more turbo whoosh, and intakes are expensive and I don't have the money for that. So since I put the exhaust back together, the gas mileage on the car has gone up like remarkably. The gas mileage has gone, it even seems to me better than it did before I even did anything with the exhaust, which that's probably just my head, but I don't know. I've had this tank of gas for a week tomorrow, and I still have a quarter tank, and I've been driving back and forth to work every day and done a little bit of running around town, and even took a little road trip on this tank too. So gas mileage is a lot better, which I'm super happy about. That'll help kind of save a little bit of money. You heard me mention the leaning out issues earlier. I've mentioned this in several of my videos, but the car would kind of shudder sometimes. It would act like it was either getting too much air or not enough fuel. They were never really able to determine what it was. I still have no idea. The car hasn't done it recently, but it has done it a few times here and there. But since I put the car back together, it hasn't done it near as consistently or as much. So I'm super happy about that. It's about time this car started acting right. As far as other things go, I've really started to appreciate this car for what it is. You know, I've tried doing race car things with my race car friends with it, and it's just not cut out for that. The car has a lot of potential, but I don't know. It's so big, it's so heavy, and this motorcycle is so slow. But yeah, it's just not cut out to be a race car with the way it is right now, and it's going to take a lot of work to get it there. Is it decent at autocross? Yeah. It needs a driver mod. Obviously, I'm not that fantastic at autocross. I haven't had enough experience. But it's okay at autocross, but it's not fantastic. It pushes, it body rolls a lot, and this is even after the rear sway, the Steeda rear sway bar and strut tower brace that I did. It's noticeably better, but it's still not where I want it to be, so I'm kind of laying off the race car things for a little while. Maybe way later on down the road, I can save up for the set of I don't know what brand coilovers they are, but they were actually just announced today, and today's Friday the 29th or 30th or something. So they were just announced today. I think they're about $1,000 a set, so that's a lot of money, but I'm sure that would completely change the character of this car. I'd still like to do a tune to it. Apparently it makes a night and day difference, and especially, I don't know if the tune will help its transmission, but dear Lord, I hope so. The transmission has just gotten jerkier and slower and stupider over time. I just am not a huge fan of this transmission. It's just really, I don't know, really strange behavior from this transmission. It does okay just kind of poking around town, but the first, I don't know, I can't remember if it's the 1 to 2 shift or the 2 to 3 shift, but one of them is extremely rough. It's bad. Like, it snaps my head back into the headrest, and anybody who rides in the car notices it too. So that, I don't know if that's something that can be tuned out, and it's not a good kind of aggressive shift. It's just an uncomfortable snap is all it is. So that kind of sucks, but you know, what are you gonna do? Again, that's money that I don't have, so that's a little frustrating. But like I said, I've really started to appreciate the car for what it is. This thing is remarkably comfortable. Like, I think you'd be hard-pressed to find another mid-size family sedan that's going to be as comfortable as this to road trip for a long time. This car, when I was back before summer started, we would take this to Houston all the time, and everybody who rode in it, or everybody was always like, Reed, let's take your car because it's the most comfortable, and of course it was the biggest. It's roomy, extremely comfortable, decent enough power, decent enough fuel economy. Those two things could be better, but that's all in due time, I suppose. So, yeah, I mean, the car, it's so comfortable. I absolutely love road tripping in this thing. It doesn't wear you out. The seats are something else in this car. Extremely good seats. Loads of adjustment in them, and I know I'm saying a lot, but I'm kind of thinking as I go here, so bear with me. It's great visibility. I love the blind spot monitoring. It's just a really easy car to live with, to do just what normal cars should do, and that is be comfortable and get you from A to B without using too terribly much gas. And that's exactly what this car does. I've tried and tried and tried to get myself to really like this car for what it isn't, and that's never gonna happen. This car, you have to like it for what it is, because what it is just a highway runner, and that's all I can ever get out of it. It's not gonna be a race car anytime soon. Maybe when I'm out of college working my own job, making my own money, I'll be able to modify it or something and turn it into something special. But right now, it's what I do most is highway cruising and around town driving, and that's what this car is cut out to do. So why should I try and mess that up? It just wouldn't be a wise decision on my part. So other things about the car, my Ford Touch, recently it's been fine. I've had a few issues out of it. It's just kind of funny sometimes, but you get used to it, I suppose. I have no idea where I'm going, so we'll find out. This ought to be an adventure. Like I said, it's been okay recently. Haven't really had much trouble out of it. I did finally get my car's picture set as the background. Of course, that was when it had all the plastic dip and stuff like that. That was like a week before I got rid of the Motivos too. Really like these tires a lot, but they wear really quickly when you drive aggressively. So yeah, I mean, that's really pretty much all I can think of right now. If there's any questions you guys have on the car, pretty sure I just hit a bird. That's fantastic. Any questions you guys have on the car, anything you want to see on the car, feel free to leave the questions in the comments box below, and I'll do my best to get those answered for you. And until then, I hope you guys have enjoyed this video, and I will see you all next time. Thanks for watching.